Hi, and welcome to Kiss List Confessions, where authors of kissing books talk about kissing. I'm Melanie Johnson, and with me today is Andie J. Christopher.
Hi, and this is Archie. So,
Hello, Archie. He's got more important things to do.
right, he's probably going to try to kiss me at least once.
So we're going to talk about your first kiss. And when I say first kiss, I mean what you define as the first kiss for yourself. So I want you to tell me what this kiss was like in 3 words.
Wet, sloppy, and embarrassing.
And this wasn't Archie we're talking about?
No, it was not. So I was like 14 years old. I was at an 8th grade dance. It was this boy named Mike Rasmussen. Yes, I'm outing him. And he was like a sort of like greasy skater boy because that was like, the thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, at the 8th grade dance, he kissed me. Like he asked me to dance. And like if you remember, if you've ever seen Pen 15, like it's a show and it's actually 2 adult women who are playing like 15-year-old girls. And they have like very like sort of embarrassing experiences with boys. They're both very nerdy and they're funny. And it was like, yeah, it was like one of those dances where everyone was like, just like, why did they let us do this? Like grinding on each other. Anyway, so Mike Rasmussen kissed me and I thought my whole face was going to be like consumed. It was like one of those alien movies. And everyone saw. And so it was very embarrassing because it was like my first kiss was not good and it was also embarrassing.
Oh, because it was public too then. It was like at the dance.
It was public, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, those middle school dances are like just a like cornucopia of embarrassment.
Yes. I mean, I was like, I've tried to wipe it from my mind, but it's indelible. It is.
So apparently that was the one and only time he kissed you.
It was the one and only time he kissed me. I was actually scared off kissing for high school. Like I was like, no, this is not for me. Like, and actually like, I think, maybe my performance was so bad, but like I did not get asked out in high school at all, ever. So, yeah. And also, like, my mom was sort of terrifying. I didn't realize this. So I dated someone I knew in high school when I was, like, in my late 20s. And he said that, like, my mom, like, we would study together in high school. And I had a huge crush on him. He was, like, everything. And we would study together for, like, AP European history. And my mom would, like, come downstairs and, like, give him a look like that. Like I have a shotgun and a shovel, no one will miss you. So it was like, I think like my mom was just like very terrifying.
So there's a reputation there that maybe kept people away.
I was also like such a goody two shoes. Like I didn't get into any trouble until I went to college. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to kiss everybody. And I kissed everyone.
You're making me nervous because my oldest is going off to college and she is a little goody two shoes and she may be like time to let loose.
I mean, I feel like on a college, like, college campuses are a relatively safe-ish place to sort of like everyone's sort of like in an open sort of experimental space.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I want her to have fun. I'm not saying I want her to,
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like when I got to college, I felt like I was like, well, I don't just have to kiss, like, whatever nerdy guy wants to kiss me. I can kiss, like, whatever guy I want. And so I kissed a lot of football players. That was my thing. I was, like, totally into jocks.
She had, like, a clipboard.
Oh, actually, okay, this is terrible. So my girlfriends and I, in my dorm, there was, like, it was still back when they had, like, a paper freshman Facebook.
Yes.
And so we decided that we were going to, like, among us, going to try to kiss a guy on every page.
You need to write a rom-com about this.
I mean, I think I could probably put it into my next one, but it was just trying to kiss a guy on every single page.
So that becomes like the challenge then, right? Like there's one page that was missed, and so she's determined she's going to hunt this, like...
I mean... Honestly, honestly, like, how funny would it be if I was like, oh, so a bunch of like women at their like 15-year reunion, college reunion, decide they're going to track down, you know, the one acceptable guy, the one single, like, they're going to track down a guy from that page, but they have to find one who's single, like, you know,
like meets the rest of this checklist. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the rest of this checklist, like single, into women, like, you know, not a priest. Like,
Why would you say that? We're going to get to that later, by the way, when we talk about Andie's book. Okay, so we're going to, beyond kissing football players, we're going to ask you about 3 celebrities. And I kind of already have a feeling I know what one of these answers is.
you do.
You might have talked about this just a little bit.
Yes.
But it's on brand. You've created a brand about it, so you know.
So 3 celebrities who I would like to kiss. Chris Evans is obviously numero uno.
And no one was shocked ever. So my question is, I mean, I guess it's probably, you know, yes, all please, but bearded or no beard?
Bearded, definitely. Like, I like a bearded kiss. Like, I'm not like, I don't have overly sensitive skin, so like it doesn't like redden up that much.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember pre-pandemic, like it could be different.
I was waiting like wait, from what? Wait, what? From what you remember from the last time you kissed Chris Evans?
I mean, actually, you know, here's the thing. I always tell people, I'm like, if I ever start dating Chris Evans, you will never hear me talk about him again.
Well, like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That's how you'll know I'm with Chris Evans. Like, and you'll see like the, you know, the paparazzi photos or like the Dumois photos, and that's the only information. Like, my social media will then be like locked down, and I'll have like a branding team, and I'll be like, you just post pictures of our dogs cuddling, and people can assume what they want.
Oh, and you'll be wearing his sweaters.
Yeah, wearing his sweaters. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Honestly, I would be colluding with his brother to like play pranks on him most of the time. I feel like his brother and I would be friends, because he's a delight. Okay, so the second one I don't think will come as a surprise for people who followed me for a while, but like Tom Hiddleston, and here's why. I feel like he's just very fun and playful in like interviews in real life, so I feel like he'd be a fun, playful kisser. There's also this like scene in The Night Manager where he like pushes like his romantic protagonist up against the wall, and she's like, yeah, it's Elizabeth Debicki. She's a little bit taller than him, and I was like, oh, that's like a real hot kiss. So I feel like he would be like very. I don't know. I've been watching Loki, and I'm projecting a lot. I just feel like he'd be.
Well, I mean, those wall kisses, those wall moments, they're yes.
Yeah, like anytime a wall or a counter is involved, it's all good. Yeah. So Archie's decided it's time to play, so we're throwing the toy.
It's all good.
And then my third one, he's new. He's new on the Wish I Could Kiss Him roster, and it's because, and I'm just gonna blame Elizabeth Kingston, who writes historical romance.
Yes.
For this, because she got me to start watching Formula One Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And it's about it's basically like a real life soap opera about race car drivers.
I have not heard of this, and I follow Liz, and I must have just missed her obsession with it.
It's so good. And now I'm into Formula One. I'm going to the United States Grand Prix in October because I'm so into it. I am like, okay, so, and everyone's going to guess that like the guy we want to kiss is Lewis Hamilton, and he is a sweet baby angel from heaven. I love him, but he doesn't seem like a whole lot of fun. Like, he's very kind of serious, which is great. It's good for him. He's like the best in the world. The one I want to kiss is Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is Italian and Australian, and he has an Australian accent. He has like the most gorgeous smile on the face of the planet. I'm going to have
to Google because I do not know this, and I will have to go look it up.
And he describes himself like on the racetrack as like a honey badger. Like, he's very sweet. Like, he looks cuddly, but then he like gets really serious. And and also like I did look up his height. He's a little bit taller than me. they're mostly a little petite, but like he's tall. Like I just feel like it would be such like a good like I would like antagonize him, and I feel like into kissing me, and I would enjoy that so much. But I would
A
really
little
like
bit of heckling, and then he's yes.
yes, I would really like to kiss Daniel Ricciardo. And you know what? Honestly, I'm like this close to sliding in his DMs. He's probably too young for me, but I just the way his face lights up when he smiles, and then I feel like he would just be so. I feel like he'd be a great kisser. Anyway.
Well, you told me. I'm gonna go look this guy up now. So Daniel Ricciardo, number 3, and that's
I made a TikTok about him that actually shows some of his best pictures. But he races for McLaren, and I mean, there's something about like a hot guy who drives a fast car. You think like he's just
so he's way that's whiskey, right?
McLaren is like it's a very fancy brand of car. So
okay. I thought it was like whoever was sponsoring him or something.
Yeah. So, but McLaren is one of the sponsors. Actually, Red Bull sponsors a team. So it's like sometimes it's a car brand and sometimes it's
sure
another brand. But and Lewis Hamilton drives for Mercedes. I wouldn't say no to kissing him, but I could only list 3. So
yeah. So if you were doing the lineup, it would be the Ricardo first, and then
and then I mean, there's a couple that I'm like I just don't like. The team principal for Mercedes is a man named Toto Wolff. He's Australian.
What a name!
He's Austrian.
That name though,
Toto Wolff, and he has an Austrian accent, which I don't know why, but it does things to me. Right here, like.
I think there's maybe a whole lot of possibilities for you in just the Formula One world.
I feel like there are so many. I mean, like, honestly, Ginger Spice married one of the team principals for Red Bull. Yeah. So it's like, it's very fancy. They like all live in Monaco. Like, honestly, it's just.
Yeah. There's a lot of racing there. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the big Grand Prix is there. So that's like my new obsession is Formula One. So, I mean, Chris Evans remains, but like if Daniel Ricciardo, answers if I crawl into his DMs, it's all over for Chris.
Okay, we'll have to. We're going to move from real people to fictional characters. Now, this is a fun one because it is not so much about like actual characters who may have kissed in a book, but there's qualities about them, there's elements to them that you're like, oh, they would make great kissers. So 3 fictional characters.
Eric Northman from True Blood / the Sookie Stackhouse mysteries. I think I'm sensing a theme in my own answers. I wrote them down today, and I wasn't really thinking thematically. I think thematically, I like someone who's a little bit playful and a little bit like irreverent, and sort of like I want them to bring the fun, and I think that really adds to like a good kissing experience. I think one of my best kisses was with a guy who was like we were kind of like joking at each other the whole time, and that. To me, that is like the sexiest ever. But like, the first 2 are really sort of like evil, like zaddies. Like I'm gonna borrow that term from Make Out Already, like, and Heaving Bosoms. It's the evil zaddies. So the second one is the Darkling from Shadow and Bone. Just the like we said, walls, counters, anytime they can like boost you up. It's that kiss. I'm just like I want him to boost me up on a counter and like try to steal my soul. Like I would let him have it.
That intensity. Yeah.
The intensity. I also love another theme is I love like in fiction. This would be very annoying in real life, but a guy who will bring you the heads of his enemies.
Right. So someone who is just all in, and it's almost that moral, the morality chain where he has his own code and
I mean my favorite Kennedy Ryan hero is Jared from Blockshot, and that is a total morality chain. Like he's basically a sociopath, except he loves the heroin, and I am all in. Jared is mine. Like,
Is he on your list or just another one that's
he's
that?
not on my list.
Okay.
So my third one, and I'm just gonna say it because I wrote him,
That's fine.
is Jack Nolan from Not the Girl You Marry. I wrote him for a character that is a lot like me. So
That is a cool point.
yeah. So I wrote his kisses, and I'm like, that's exactly how I would like to be kissed. So, yeah. So Jack Nolan, and he's also loosely based. He looks like Chris Evans in my head, so that's sort of it's a double, you know.
Yes, I really I like that. I like that element to it that you're like kind of it's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we were to move to actual scenes in movies, books, TV, kissing scenes, what are your favorite 3 kissing scenes?
Okay, so this one is from when I was like, I saw this movie and imprinted on it early, and it is the Keanu Reeves movie, A Walk in the Clouds. Like after they're crushing the grapes, and then they're gonna go do it because it's a fake relation. It's like a fake relationship because she's pregnant. The setup to the whole movie, and so he doesn't like they, and he's a traveling salesman that she picks up on the side of the road. And so they're pretending to be engaged, and like that, like she grew up on a winery in California. Her family are Mexican. Like they lived there forever since it was Mexico, and they're like very proud of the land. And so he has to like crush grapes, and they're all like covered in grape juice, and then they're just like making out, and it's just like it's very primal. It's super hot. And they're just, it's like that moment when they realize that they have huge feelings for each other. So
yeah, and I feel like that movie is very atmospheric, like the whole like cinematography of it.
Yes, it is a walk in the clouds. They really, really, truly like are committed to like the concept.
All right,
so
that's good. Next.
Okay, so in the first season of Sons of Anarchy, Jackson Tara's like first like sort of kiss back is after he has shot her stalker ex-boyfriend, who's a DEA agent, dead, and they like do it basically in front of his dead body. It's like it doesn't sound hot, but they've been like dancing around each other for like 10 episodes or whatever, and it's like the heads of the enemies thing.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not into like bikers in real life. Obviously, I'm into people who drive fast things because Daniel Ricciardo. But like this, like that scene, it's just like I watched that first season a ton of times, and it's like it's very hot. And then the third one is not going to be surprising. And thematically, I'm going to revisit Chris in each of these categories. But there's a closet scene in Defending Jacob, and this is what made me say beard for Chris Evans, where he pushes his wife against the wall of the closet. They're having like an emotional moment, and he just has he has such Stern Brunch Daddy vibes in that moment. And you just
it's called Defending Jacob.
Defending Jacob. It's a show about like he plays an assistant district attorney and like it's a mystery thriller. It doesn't really have a happy ending, but it's that one scene is very hot. I think it's episode 5. I don't know. But the whole scene, the full 30 seconds of the scene are available on YouTube. I looked them up today. Because I was like,
we'll include a link to that for sure. That's been popular too. You have to watch this, so we will make sure that we get that kiss. A link to it.
Yeah, it's very, very hot. So those are my 3 fictional favorite movie I have a hard time whenever I read a romance book, I'm taking in the whole thing. So I have a hard time I had a hard time pulling out individual
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the semantic, the ones you see on the screen that kind of, like you say, imprint on you, or you think about them more because you're taking it in a different format. So, well, we're going to talk about places.
Yes. All right. feel like this is a little bit boring, but I like the kiss on the couch when you're watching TV. Not like a Netflix and chill situation with someone new, but like, like someone you're kind of like dancing around and like there's some chemistry and you're like, we're hanging out, we're watching a movie. Will it happen or won't it? And that's like that tension. Like, I like that. Oh, we're just hanging out and like eating popcorn and then it happens. And then you're all comfortable and you can like, really go to town. So that's my first favorite place. And then my second favorite place it's more of a vibe than a place necessarily, but I think it's like on a New York City fire escape or fire escape in any big city. Like after a party, everyone's gone home. You spent the whole night kind of like either talking to each other and like getting interrupted and then looking at each other from across the room. And it's just like that. And not in the middle of the summer because that's going to smell like hot garbage, but like in the spring or the fall or even like it's going to smell like hot garbage right now. So don't attempt.
No, I love that detail, but I also love how you're describing this because I can so picture it and feel that vibe. Like, and there's all that kind of like emotional high you're coming off of a party and all that energy. But like you said, like they're trying to connect all evening and kind of getting, interrupted. Yeah. And then everything's winding down and quiet. And it's just the two of them out there. It's it's a great vibe.
Yeah. I mean, someone could be drinking champagne out of the bottle. I don't want to dictate it too much.
This may or may not have happened in real life.
That has never happened in real life. And then my third one has never happened in real life either. The first one has. I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying this, but I don't think Paris is the most romantic city in the world. I think it's Rome. And I've never been to Rome, but Rome to me, like Trevi Fountain, yes, please. I think Rome is the most romantic city in the world. Italian food's my favorite like genre of food, and I want to walk around a fountain eating gelato and get kissed by like Gregory Peck.
Oh, I like it. So we're going. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
And I think for that, I think one of the reasons is not only Roman Holiday, but there's a book by Kristen Callahan, Managed, where they go to Rome and it's super romantic. And I think that's kind of where I got the idea. So
there's the movies like Under the Tuscan Sun and those are it's just drenched in this sunshine and wine and there's so much sensory detail that is very sensual.
Yeah, exactly. And there's wine and
I'm thinking of Letters to Juliet is another one. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to finish up here. So we're talking about atmosphere and creating the moment.
Yeah.
And so what would be 3 songs that you would put on your kissing music playlist?
I want to say Unchained Melody is a great kissing song.
Very romantic, yeah.
I also want to say, okay, so the most comic kissing song I can think of, and there's a tiny little story behind it. I feel like I'm taking forever, but anyway, so Your Body is a Wonderland by John Mayer is maybe a terrible kissing song, but it's also very funny because I was making out with this guy in college and he put Your Body is a Wonderland on his makeout playlist.
Uh-oh.
And I started laughing so hard because it's fucking ridiculous. I was
is he you're really, dude?
I was seriously, this you really have this a little too planned, my friend. Too planned. Foul.
Not subtle at all.
Not subtle at all. Did I leave? No. I made fun of him though. And then, okay, so my third suggestion is really an album, but if I had to pick one song, I would say Trouble by Ray LaMontagne is that, that whole record is going to be good for making out. But that song is it's soulful, it's folky. I feel like the slow jams are a little bit cliched. I think I want to like listen to like little Arctic Monkeys, a little rock when I'm trying to set a mood. Although I will throw a slow jam in there. It just, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm limiting 2 to 3, so you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could go all night. I would be
I
like,
think,
oh,
and honestly, because do you make playlists when you write? Do you do that at all?
yes, I do make playlists for most of my books. Some of them don't happen until later. The last book that I turned in, not the book that's coming out next month, but the last book I turned in, it turned out into like lots of like TikTok songs. Because I would write and then I would watch TikTok for like 3 hours and then I would like look up these songs and put them on. But because I think I could like dissociate a little bit when I was watching TikTok, so it kind of got me in that same sort of mental space when I was writing. So not a lot of those are like good makeout songs, but like I was doing a lot of Hoser when I was writing like kissing scenes for a while there, and I think sometimes I go back to that. When I was writing Hot Under His Collar, I was listening to like the Fleabag soundtrack because I was trying to set that mood in the book. So that's kind of where that came from.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Hot Under His Collar.
Yes. Hot Under His Collar.
And that's coming out in July.
July 20th. So as we're talking right now, it's like 3 weeks, but yeah.
Right. So maybe it probably will be out right around the time that when people are watching this. And so it is set in the same world as the other book you showed us, Not That Kind of Guy.
Yeah. So, Not the Girl You Marry, Not That Kind of Guy came out in 2019 and 2020, respectively. And it's set in the same world. The heroine, Sasha, is like the best friend of the main character, Not the Girl You Marry. Right. And the hero is actually the best friend of the hero in Not the Girl You Marry. And it's Father Patrick. And so I actually didn't plan Not the Girl You Marry with Patrick as a character, but I knew that Jack needed like a conscience. And so I made him a father, what a waste. And as soon as Not the Girl You Marry came out, this was even before it came out, as soon as there were early readers, I got some emails and like messages saying, and like, Father Patrick's getting a book, right? Is the next book Father Patrick?
Well, especially because it became like hot preseason.
Yes. And so when Fleabag came out, and I convinced my editor, I don't know how I convinced my editor to let me do it, but I did. So then I immediately regretted it because I was like, how am I going to write a romance?
So, I mean, I don't want to give away spoilers for people who are going to read it, but let's go back to what you just said. You just called him Father, what a waste.
Yes.
I'm assuming because it's like, here is this great catch who is married to the church, so to speak.
Yes. And so Patrick, he's like this good looking, like fundamentally decent human being who you'll find out when you read the book why it's sort of a mystery throughout the series, like why he became a priest.
Okay.
And because no one knows, because he's a good dude, and you find out in like earlier book, like you definitely can just read this as a standalone. It stands by itself. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like, it's pretty fun. Like I knew I was going to do it, so I weaved in some details in early books.
It was after Not the Girl You Marry came out, though, that you decided.
Yeah. After Not the Girl You Marry came out, I knew once I wrote Not the Girl You Marry, once I wrote him in, I was like, I kind of want to do this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then once that came out, I knew I was going to be able to. So in Not That Kind of Guy, I sprinkled in some details.
Started to weave it in a little more. Yeah. Now is this set in Chicago?
It's set, all 3 books are set in Chicago. I mean, Not That Kind of Guy is set partially in Vegas, but it's all set in Chicago. They all live there. And I didn't know who Patrick's heroine was going to be, but then I was like, it's got to be Sasha. Because she was like so on the straight and narrow. Like she was such a she's like, this is like a way throwback, but like she was like, I follow the rules. Like if a guy doesn't call me 3 days in advance, like I'm not going out with him. Like she's just very like straight and narrow. She's had a crush on Patrick for a while. And like you find out she's not like as sweet and sort of pristine as she's made herself out to be. And like she has a terrible family, which I actually based on a friend from college's family. And so I saw a couple of reviews where like, I can't believe any family would be this terrible. And I was like, oh.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, it is wild when you write something that's based on reality, like in your own personal life or friends' lives, and people are like, no way. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. Like her mom is the worst, and she's based on someone I know's mom.
I mean, it's frustrating, but great book fodder. But.
Yeah, it is. And like part of like Sasha's journey is like she's in therapy and she's like trying to get out of her family's very fixed view of who she is and who she should be and who she should want to be with. And Patrick's life is similarly fixed but by a different structure. And so what I really wanted to do was like write a fun love story but in kind of like deconstruct these structures, like what we like, and create a romantic love story out of like breaking out of who we're supposed to want to be. So that makes sense.
Yeah, yes. I mean, like as a priest, there's a lot of expectation on what that is. And so
yeah.
Okay, so that is Hot Under Collar, and it comes out on July 20th. All right. And it sounds like you said you just turned in another book. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. So it's a standalone. It's set in a whole new place. It's set in Los Angeles, new characters. And it's sort of like, it's based on something that happened to me. When I first moved to DC, I saw like a guy that I dated in law school on Say Yes to the Dress as the fiance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like that's all I need to hear. And I can already, yes. There's so many plot bunnies that come from just that. So
yeah, so it set me in a tailspin. That guy in the book is not the hero and also not my life, but it sends the heroine into sort of a tailspin because in the book, this character has told her, he's like, I'm never getting married. I don't want to get married. And when she comes to realize that a lot of guys have said this to her, but really the whole thing is that they don't want to marry her. And so she thinks she's fine with it, but she's not really fine with it.
Yeah, that's a great hook. That's a great hook for, what, and you can just see. So does it have a title?
It's called Thank You Next.
Oh. And do we know when it's coming out or not yet?
I want to say May 2022.
So somewhere spring 2022.
Yeah, spring, summer. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so Thank You Next, and that's great. So make sure you check out Hot Under His Collar. This has been Kiss List Confessions. I'm Melanie Johnson, and my guest today is
Andie J. Christopher. Thank you so much for tuning in and for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.